Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm So Crafty Liz. Today's tutorial is for the McCallie and I did the basket version. This pattern is from K.Dill Handmade. Thank you so much to Kathy for allowing us to use her pattern in the Marathon Society Marathon series for April. It's so cute. I use the adorable Kitty Bees print from the Emporium with this yellow vinyl from More Me Know, and it has the cutest little pockets on the side, and I use the coordinating waterproof cotton also from the Emporium. I'll be sure to leave a link in the description for all the other awesome sewists sewing in the marathon today, so be sure and check them out. And with that, let's get to it. All right, let's go through our pieces. I have 2 cuts of piece A, which is the main panel, and I'm using this yellow vinyl from More Me Know. And then I have 2 cuts of my lining in a waterproof cotton. This coordinating print is from the Emporium, and it goes with the super adorable Kitty Bees that is also from the Emporium. So this is A, this is B. I have 2 of each of those. This is the angled pocket piece C, and I have 2 of those in my vinyl and 2 of those in my waterproof cotton. Then I have my exterior base, my stabilizer, and my lining base. I opted not to do the internal zipper pocket. And I also have my cut of webbing for the handle because I'm going to be doing the basket version today. So first thing I'm going to do is take one of my angled pockets and put it right sides together with one of the linings and put a couple clips on here. And then we're going to sew along this edge on both sides for both pieces. Now we're going to take and turn this right side out. And then press this edge right here. And we are going to top stitch down both sides on both of our pockets. So I'm just giving that a good press. Now I'm going to take one of my main panels and I'm going to lay my pocket on top of it. And I went ahead and cut notches for my centers. And I'm not completely sure if my measurement was off or what exactly I did, but I have some extra overhang on the side. And my main panel is about a quarter to a half inch too long. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch this down and then I'll trim it up. And we're going to do that for both pieces. Okay, I went ahead and trimmed off the excess, and because my lining panel was the same as my exterior main panel, I did go ahead and trim the same amount off of it as well. And then I also went ahead and added my Decaville to my base piece. This piece is not a complete square. It's taller than it is wide. So make sure you are adding it in the correct direction when you fuse it. So we're going to take and put that right sides together with one of our main panels and sew along that edge. Then we're going to flip that open and add our other panel right sides together and sew along that edge. I'm trying to figure out what I did to cut this completely wrong. Because I'm pretty sure those are supposed to be the same. We're going to find out. So now we're going to fold our base wrong sides together. Just like this. And we have that fold right there so that we can sew our sides together. And yes, that should have been the same size, but with everything else, it is what it is. And we'll trim it off when we're done. It's fine. So again, all I'm doing is pushing that base into the middle and folding the wrong sides together to create this fold right here. Because this is my base and then these are my two panels, and then clipping that together. And then we're going to sew along this edge, and I'm actually going to start from up here since mine is off. And depending on your machine, this could be a little bit thick right here. So I'm just going to take this scrap piece of vinyl that I keep in my drawer, and I'm just going to put it under my foot, and it will just help my machine climb over that. Just make sure that when you lift your foot, your needle is down. And then again, put that under my foot. My needle is down, and I'm just going to put it under there. It'll just help that foot have something to ride on as it goes over that thick area. So I went ahead and trimmed off my sides, and now we can turn our bag right side out. No, it's okay, I think. Get those all poked out, and that will create our nice little point on the side. Isn't that cute? So I'm going to work this and get it the way I want it, and I'll be right back to show you what it looks like. So I have my corner all poked out, and it looks really good. I am happy with how it looks. It's going to be adorable. So now we can set that piece to the side. And if you are doing the interior zipper pocket, you would want to go ahead and do that now. But I am not. So I am going to take my base piece, which is, again, this one is wider than it is tall. So I'm going to clip my center on the side that I'm going to be attaching to my lining. I'll go ahead and clip my linings as well. So right sides together, I'm going to attach this. Now this part is wider than it is tall. So I'm just going to match those center points up and then stitch this together. Put my vinyl back. So now I can flip it and attach the other side. Again, lining up those centers. And then we're going to stitch this. All the seam allowances are given in the pattern. There are a lot of little tips and notes in the pattern as well. Okay, before you attach your lining base to the lining, there is a measurement given in the pattern to measure from this edge in, and that is going to be our start and our stop for the stitching. And then you will sew those two sides. Then we're going to fold it so that our lining is inside our lining base, and we are going to match up our edges of our sides. We are not sewing our base in the side seam. Marlena decided to join me, so I imagine you caught a fluff of her tail as she jumped up here on the table. So I am just clipping my sides together. And then we're going to start at the top at the seam allowance, and then slowly as we come down to the bottom, we're going to grade in. Okay, now at each end of our stitching, we are going to snip into only the lining panel, not our base, and only up to the stitching. And then now we can create our boxed corner. So we're going to open that out to match up the center of my panel with the seam on the side. And this is going to help us create that nice boxed corner. And it may take a little bit of finagling to get it to line up just right. And it's really important that you don't sew past those lines. And I had to add a little bit of an extra snip there just to make it where it will line up nicely. And I'm grabbing extra thread. There we go. I just want that to lay nice and flat. So now I have both sides done. So we can flip this over and sew with our base down. And you want to back stitch at the beginning and the end. And then flip it around and sew the other side. And I ran out of bobbin. So, hold please. Okay, I'm back. And I'm going to sew this one more time. This time for real with my bobbin. And then once we have that sewn, we can trim our seam allowances back some. I opted not to do that on my exterior, but I am going to do it on the lining. Whichever option you were using. So I chose to do the basket option. So I'm going to take my length of webbing and I'm going to line it up centered over my side seam. And I'm going to make sure that I allow it to overhang. And then I'm going to base this in place. And I'm actually going to do it with the webbing down on my table just because it'll be easier to get it up under my machine. Attach it to the other side, being careful not to twist it. So what I did was I just looped it around to the bottom and then pulled it off the side so that I know I have it going the right way. And then I can get it lined up where I want it. And lay it down on my machine. Now I'm just going to base that in place real quick before I lose it. All right, we're ready for final assembly. So we're going to take and put our exterior inside of our lining, tuck our webbing down in between, and make sure that it is straight, and then line this up. I'll get it clipped together and then I'll come back and show you. Okay, I have it all clipped together. I did leave this open here because I did not opt to do the interior zipper pocket. I don't have any way to turn mine out. Now I could have left an opening in my side seam, but I didn't think about it. So I'm just gonna leave this top edge open and I can catch it closed when I do my final top stitch. So I'm going to start over here on this side and sew all the way around to attach my lining to my main exterior. Right there, I guess. Hopefully it won't be too bad to turn out. And when I get to that webbing, I'm just going to kind of straighten it up so that when it is sewn into the seam, it will not be crooked in my bag. If I can get it finagled around in there. May have to Here we go. Well, I had it. And then I let go. Hopefully it won't look too bad. All right, I'm ready to turn my bag out now. So I'm going to just reach in between those two layers and pull my exterior through and tuck my, let's see, there we go. Now I can tuck that down inside my basket and get my handle situated. Hopefully it doesn't look too bad. Oh, it actually looks pretty decent. Yay for me. This is a cute little basket. I'll have to admit that I didn't realize exactly what size it was, and I thought it was going to end up being larger than this, but this is adorable. These would make cute little Easter baskets. Especially if you had some kids in the family or something that you had to give one to. May have to play around with it and make an enlarged version. Let's see how it comes out. So I'm just folding those edges and rolling those seams so that I can have a nice finish. And then on this side where I left it open, I like to fold my lining down and add my clips, and then fold my exterior, and then I can match them up. And then once I have it matched up, then I can kind of play around with the placement and make sure that I have everything nice and smooth. And hopefully this isn't too close to the camera for you to be able to see what I am doing. So there we have. And then we can push that lining on down in there and get those corners popped out, and it will be perfect. So now all we have left to do is top stitch. All right, we're ready to top stitch. I've got it all clipped together. So I'm going to fold it up under here, and I'm going to start on the side and work my way around. And I just try to keep my needle down and adjust as I get to a clip. And if I need to twist it on out some more, I can, as long as my needle is down so I don't get any shifting and my stitching stays straight. And make sure that webbing stays out of your way so you don't stitch over it. And then if you're coming up to the seam on the pocket and it's a little bit thick, you can do that same trick where you use the vinyl and put it under your foot. Just keeping that webbing out of the way so I don't sew over it. And you want this to be as flat as possible right here so you don't get any puckers. So you just kind of have to work with it and get it laid out. Mine is only slightly cooperating. And then we are done. So I trim those threads, and then I like to take my lighter and just singe the end of it just a little bit so I don't have any unraveling. And now we can poke it all out. There's our McCallie bucket bag. It is so cute. Thank you for watching me today. I hope you'll like and subscribe, and be sure to check out all the other awesome sewists participating in today's marathon. And a huge thank you to Kathy for allowing us to use her pattern in our videos. Bye.